Hey everyone, this content's again 13 and up for adult collectors of the product, older audience, all that stuff. Read the disclaimer. This footage is from the Barricade Lucifer, so this is pretty much from variants to the ends first, because I counted with it. Barricade, but this time on the DB Stadium. So you're probably going to hear me talk, because these are segments used in the video, but it's more or less just the raw footage. And yeah, there's also the Nemesis one if you want to see that one. And yeah, you can just see the full testings if you want to. Probably see me screw up the launch a few times, which is probably going to be expected. And yeah, enjoy. First, Lucifer, 1A on Extreme Dash versus Curse Lucifer, Extend plus 2A. Let's see with an example with Destroy Dash if the movement... Let's see with Destroy Dash if anything can really change. So in the example here, whether it was Extreme Dash, it was able to kind of connect some hits and generate some recoil to be able to try to KO Curse, but not too crazy. And more or less similar to Destroy Dash, where again, it was not too effective. The issue here with attackers and sparking, especially here, is that they are a little bit too lightweight, and the options are just very good defensively to where it makes it struggle quite a bit. And with other options, either better offensively or better for stamina and attack, this is what makes First pretty much useless. Variant 1S Wheel Extend Plus versus Curse 1S Wheel Extend Plus. Next up, Glide 1S Wheel Extend Plus. So in both cases here, it is far too recoily to even compete with some of the lower tier Super King rings in terms of stamina, making it completely useless in that regard. And it is nowhere near ever touching the Tempest ring. Variant Lucifer Bearing 2D, Rage Helios 2 Metal Chip Core, Extreme Dash 3A, Brave Lucifer 2S Destroy Dash. Now we're going to make it basically the stock of Rage with Destroy Dash and see how it does. Now we're going to be seeing with the Tempest ring, what difference does it make in terms of pure defense? Last time, we're going to try Rage on Destroy Dash. So, while demonstrating 2D, here are some things that we noticed. Variant is far too lightweight to be that effective at all in order to work for proper defense. And if we are able to contrast with something like Tempest, for an example, not only did we see an increase in stamina overall, but Same Spin was a fail regardless. This is due to the fact that because you are hitting those tongues as it is spinning around, those rubber blades will cause it to deplete in its stamina, making it quite useless for Same Spin, not to mention it does scrape a little bit at the end. And when you compare it against lefts, with an amazing attacker like Rage, it was able to fare a little bit better due to the fact that Tempest has its unique gimmick to pair up with 2D. Which, because the wings act as pushing and sliding, while this is supposed to be fixed as bound attack to awaken to its ultimate form, it usually will reset working as very good defense. This is to pair good with 2D to not only absorb all those hits, but deflect them away. Curse was also used quite a bit with 2D. This is due to the reason of how well it kind of meshes with the shape, and this was before Tempest released. More or less, 2D proves to be a great equalizer to kind of hold off against Rage, making it effective enough for the meta if your goal was pure defense against only left spin attack. While of course it is very clapped against anything really Same Spin. Tempest Lucifer bearing 2D versus Tempest Lucifer wheel bearing 1S. Both with extend. While maybe in a case of pure bearings, 2D could maybe do something, in reality, if you put it against what's really commonly used, which is Extend Plus, it does fall flat, Same Spin, being unimpressive. And this is in a state where it's technically not even the legal version of how far you can actually wear it, and it still failed miserably. Mirage Helios 2D bearing versus Tempest 2D bearing. Let's see what happens now when they both have 2D. In the case of opposite spin equalization, it did far better with the rubber blades than without it. This is due to the fact that because the rubber blades are helping with that shape to be more rounder and also help with shock absorption, it is able to have a better shape to actually help equalize at the end, giving it the support it needs. While it is still possible to maybe just do okay, it is still far better with the rubber blades for opposite spin. But let's see how attack fares. At best, you get better same spin defense, but overall, it is objectively worse without the barrier than it is with the barrier. There is some weird copium in the community where for some reason, they just really hate the fact it loses in same spin stamina, but aside from that, it's just worse overall. There are more redeeming qualities with a barrier than there is without it. So Lucifer has always been better overall with a barrier. Moving on to Mobius, we're going to be picking actually this variant, aside from general free spin being the best on this variant of Mobius. Since this is the worn version, which is legal, essentially what it is just on the flat plate, the middle part is less exposed and flatter. While still being visible, it is legal and leads to easier times against equalization. Before we see that, from here on out, I want to demonstrate one simple point. That whether this is Mobius or Drift or Metal Drift, avoid same spin matchups. Mobius goes far too aggressive to work at all for same spin. While there can be outlier rounds, it is best to avoid. Next up, to show an effective enough Mobius combination, we have Mirage Helios with 1S Wheel Mobius against the same Tempest combination we've been battling. This is generally how Mobius is going to win, with it standing on top of the base it will be battling against, and this is what you want ideally for any matchup that uses Mobius. We're going to try World on the same combination. As matches like this can keep going, there are examples like a free spin 2B, a 2D, or a paradox where you could possibly get this to work on World and more or less get similar results. As this is technically a defense driver, we're going to demonstrate how you would use Mobius, and in general, how would you try to handle defense for these type of drivers. As we can see, regardless of launch strength, in this specific case, we try to hard launch 2D to match Rage's intensity, to force it to stop, to then after equalize it to death. You can, of course, also weak launch and kind of hold your ground. The one issue is that this height is a little bit annoying to deal with, and it's not too hard to push you out. Let's give an example between Drift versus Mobius. Now generally, Drift is going to have an advantage over Mobius due to the fact that it is more or less the exact same driver but shorter with a wider guard, due to its round shape, allowing it to do things that Mobius can't quite do. This does not mean that Mobius was useless, it still had its use, but more specific matchup. On Holo pairs up the best due to the imbalance of metal on the bottom and top. Sync 4A in either position, allow it to be a little bit more effective in terms of stamina, and not only making this good for attack in general, but also stamina. So for almost a near mirror match, it is Holo Lucifer 2 against Tempest Solomon 1S versus 4A, wheel wheel, extend plus, extend plus. an effective burst finish, let's try to switch where the placement of 4A is. Same spin mirror matchup. To give an example of how drift can slap, we're going to go up against the same Tempest combination as before. While it is possible to draw and continue a battle until you win, more or less it will shut down very tough drivers like Extend Plus, and go toe-to-toe with drivers like Zone Dash plus Z. As these results can vary so much, it solely depends on your combo setup in order to equalize and win. Generally, Drift has proved to be extremely effective during the sparking season, being very dominant. We're going to use a basic Rage combination, but with Drift. As drift has more or less the same issue, same spin as Mobius does, it actually can help with rage with not only having aggression, but with rage's shape pairs up nicely with drift to equalize, being a very interesting and deadly combination. As we can see, he was able to utilize his rage's aggression and round shape in order to get the victory. Dynamite Dragon F gear, Vanished Achilles on 9, Illegal Drift, Overbearing Dash, Dynamite Dragon on Illegal Bearing Drift versus Vanish over Drift. Same combination, Drift versus Mobius. Same combination, but Drift versus High Extent plus Dash. Same combination, but Drift on against Bearing Mobius. Bearing Drift versus Bearing Dash. Bearing Drift versus Mobius. Bearing Drift versus High Extent plus Dash. Bearing Drift versus Bearing Mobius. Bearing Mobius, Bearing Dash. Barricade on Drift for defense. Barricade versus Vanish, both illegal BDR. Same spin, B, Mobius bearing. Same spin Mobius versus bearing dash. Bearing drift versus Mobius bearing. Opposite spin, Mobius bearing against Wind Dragon illegal bearing drift.